Hi loves! Welcome back. It's time for another month of albums to talk about and to gush about. Yes. I'm filming this intro way after I've done my voiceover because this is just to give you guys a heads up. This video will be extremely chaotic. I'm gonna have to apologize firsthand real quick before we begin. Please forgive me if at some point in the video I sound really crazy or I sound really incoherent at some parts, because I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts of albums this month for some reason. Like, I have so much thoughts about them for whatever reason, and I just have a lot to blah about. So if I get really chaotic by the midpoint at some point in the video, my apologies. I hope you guys are still ready for it. I hope you guys are prepared for this ride, because oh boy, we're in for a ride. I'm telling you. Alright, let's just jump right into it. Here are my favorite albums of May 2021. Let's get it. So first and foremost, we have the queen herself. HEIZE is back. This is her first album under P Nation. She just moved over to P Nation, so yay! And she released a new album this year finally, and I say it definitely lives up to her discography. Definitely. Even though it's not really like, you know, I wouldn't say that it is my most favorite of her discography, but it's a pretty strong entry, I would say. It's a very sentimental album. I mean, she always sings her R&B songs like they're the saddest thing on earth, and I love her voice. She tends to sing in this very yearnful, sentimental, earnest, emotional feeling that you can feel what she's singing even though you don't understand the words. And I love her take on R&B, which is mixed with ballads for the most part, especially on this album. I love this album for just being so smooth and soft, and I can put this on at the background when I work. It's not something that I would seek out listening to all the time, but if I wanted something to use as background music, then this album is my go-to. I also really love the guest featurings that she has on this album, especially the inclusion of Changmo and Gary from Lisang. I especially love these two. They're some of my favorite rappers ever, especially Gary, who I really love in Lisang. If you guys haven't checked out Lisang yet, they also do this kind of really like sentimental hip-hop-y type music like HEIZE does, so go check them out. They're like really huge when I got into K-pop, like in the second gen, so yeah, that's why I really like them. And also, of course, Changmo is killed it as always. His voice is really nice. I love his voice, and yeah, I really congratulate her for her return, and nice album. Yeah. Okay, so first and foremost, I like to say that, I mean, I know I talk about 30 a lot on this channel, especially the Frost on Your Kiss, which is like such a masterpiece of an album for February, and I didn't know that this person was in the group, KHUNDI PANDA. I knew him from Show Me the Money, but I didn't know he was in the group. Like, he and I think Son Simba was also in the group as well, which really blew my mind, because I'm like, wait, I didn't think that I would have seen like two very familiar names in the group itself. I thought they're just a completely new underground group, but like having two familiar names in the group really blew my mind, especially KHUNDI PANDA, which I think is one of my favorites in Show Me 9. I really like his rap style, so I was really curious to see what he can come up with for this album, and I love this album. This album is such a very compelling storytelling album. It almost reminds me of like one of those like space themed arcade games, you know what I mean? Or like if you guys have played like Space Invaders before, you know, where you shoot the rockets. It's like one of those like old games where you like shoot the spaceships with like this little tiny shooter thing. I don't know how to explain it, but I used to play it a lot, and oh my god, I used to have this game in like my electronic dictionary back when I was in primary school, and I would play it a lot in class. I know that it was pretty like rebellious of me, I know, but like when you have an electronic dictionary and it has a preloaded game inside, and it's like, you know, one of those like Space Invaders game where it's like you just shoot like spaceships with like a little tiny gun thing, shooter thing, that really got me through the class, especially during these like boring like math classes or like Chinese grammar classes. Sorry, teacher. But yeah, it really reminded me of those good old days of playing that game in like my little tiny like handheld portable electronic dictionary, but also like all these like space themed games I used to play when I was younger on my laptop, especially like oh my god, I can't really think of what games there are, but I used to play a lot of these when I was a kid, and yeah, it gives me those vibes as well. It has that kind of arcade video game vibe, that kind of very compelling storytelling. Like you have like the beginning where it's just like once upon a time in the galaxy far, far away, they're going on an adventure, and you hear all these like really intricate glitches and sound designs and sound effects here and there that really guides you well. And that's what I love about this album. Track for track, the album guides you through this wonderful journey of like trying to defeat whatever villain is there in the way, or like whatever like hero is there to save the day and stuff like that. I don't know, it just makes me happy. And of course, the rapping on this is phenomenal as well. The hip-hop sounds on this album with the glitches paired with KHUNDI PANDA's extraordinary rapping really makes for a very amazing storytelling album in general, and I strongly recommend you guys to check it out if you're into these like old like 8-bit space themed video games or like space themed stories. I think you guys would really like this album. 마치 내 기분은 happy birthday 너만 보면 미친 듯 every day. Now ONEUS is back. ONEUS. Okay, confession time. Back in January, they released their first full-length album, Devil, and I say that it took a long time, like way too long to actually fully grow on me. I liked it at first, but the title track, No Diggity, let's just say I was no digging it. That was a very bad joke. No diggity, more like no digging it, am I right? But yeah, I grew to like No Diggity as time goes by. I love the unabashed energy that they have on the track, and I especially love the lyrics for some reason. Like it really just tickled like a part of me that really excites me for some reason. Like there's something so satisfying about hearing such angelic voices telling someone to go piss off and stop stealing their girl. It's my girl. Why are you doing? Screw off. Now, I don't know why, but it really tickled me so much. And yeah, especially like the album also grew on me as time goes by. I wasn't really a huge fan of the ordering of the songs at first. I thought it was a bit too messy, but I ended up liking most of the songs on the album, especially Incomplete, Lionheart, and What You Doing. Those are really good songs. But Binary Code is such a tremendous step up in their discography. I mean, it's ONEUS, they never disappoint, but like this time around they really bring the retroness up to 11. Now there are some glimmers of potential that they had with this retro concept even in their Devil album, especially in songs like What You Doing and Busho, but they really fully realized this potential in the title track Black Mirror in this album, which might I add, is a technology themed song. As someone who studies computer science and works in the technology field, hearing someone says, "Get off the phone, we live in a society, technology is ruining mankind," it makes me feel like, yeah, sorry everyone. Sorry guys. I don't know why, but like every time like outsider people look at me in the technology field and be like, "It's because of technology that humanity is in the downfall," and I'm like, okay, but I still need to pay the bills. JK. I mean, yeah, sure. Technology, not too much technology is bad. You know what I mean? Like, get off the phone, get some fresh air. Well, I mean, if you can, because it's, I mean, pandemic shit. But like, yeah, just sometimes it's nice to not look at your phone or your laptop or your technological devices all the time. You know what I mean? I mean, it's part of my job, but like sometimes I need to remind myself that life is not all about technology. You know, I still need to think about the real life. You know what I mean? Like, I need to exercise, I need to eat, and I need to sleep. That kind of stuff. So fair point, ONEUS. Fair point. I really, really love the groove on this title track. Especially like all the members, they really have such really gorgeous lines for their vocals. I'm gonna just say this right off the bat. I think the members that killed this concept the most are actually everyone. Like Soho and Koni had such gorgeous vocal lines. Dongju with his Asgardian hairstyle. Okay, I wasn't digging it at first, but like he looks so good in long hair for some reason. Like someone getting him a shampoo ad. He looks majestic as hell. And then we have Ido, who is such a really like low tone voice and who got all the vocal lines, and oh my goodness, his voice is so gorgeous. And then Hwanung, who's just killing the dance parts. But oh my god, can we all just talk about Youngjo real quick? Mother freaking Youngjo came through. He pushed the walls down and ate and left no crumbs. He showed up for work that day. His rap parts are some of the most cathartic moments I've heard in K-pop songs this year. I really look forward to listening to his rap parts every time I listen to Black Mirror. Oh my god, he really just blew my mind in this song, and after the whole song, I could not stop thinking about it all day. He showed up for work. Hello, sir. And the rest of the songs are really, really good as well. I mean, they have like Connect With Us. They finally released a full version of Connect With Us, which is a kick-ass outro from Devil. And then they have Polarity, which is such classic ONEUS song, classic ONEUS pop. Something that I would listen to on like public transport. I don't know why, but like their Us series are such an integral part of my public transport playlist. Like I would just go through like all three of their albums, Light Us, Raise Us, and Fly With Us, in like trips on like on public transport, like public bus or public train to like university and stuff like that, that I associate ONEUS, especially these three albums, with going to university. So give me a big old train ride and I'll probably just blast this throughout the journey. And Happy Birthday, chill hop song, I love it. Happy Birthday is such a cute song. I don't know why, but cute chill hop stuff, glitchy, and like with little cute ad-libs here and there, it really just makes my heart melt. It's so adorable. How can you not? And finally, they have this kick-ass Valkyrie rock remix. Yo, tell me in 2019 that there's gonna be a rock remix for Valkyrie, and I would be like, yeah, right, in your dreams. But like, it is here. And it blew my mind. That is really good. And I heard that the members of ONEWE, I think especially Kanghyun from ONEWE, was in charge of producing it, I believe. We stand talent. Honestly, ONEUS and ONEWE are such a power duo brother group that one day, if they ever release an album together, the entire K-pop community would combust. For sure. But all the songs are really solid, and I have to commend ONEUS for that. Like, they always make really solid songs, true and true. And this is just another amazing addition to their discography. So wonderful job, ONEUS. Fantastic job. Amazing. immaculate. Stan wanna stand the talent. Oh shit, did I just ramble about this for 8 minutes? Okay, I'll deal with it in editing later. Now, this artist, I found out about her on the Melon homepage, and I saw that her album art is pretty cute. I love the album art. It has lots of purple on it. Purple's my favorite color, and I'm like, oh, that's an aesthetic album art. I might check it out. And I would say that it's a very surreal and like ethereal album. If Space Dust was an album, it would be this one. But it's also very eerie sounding at the same time. Like you have these like small like glimmers, small specks of like these scary sounds in there that makes you feel uneasy, even though it's a very beautiful lush wall of sound, but then there's like undertones of like uneasiness in it, which makes it very nuanced. And there's also lots of glitches, like, you know, glitchy sound design, and also some retro flares like disco and funk, which really just pairs well with the atmospheric wall of sound that she has provided it. And not to mention her vocals, phenomenal. Well, I mean, like, her vocals are also like, you know, processed with like walls of autotune, but it works with the concept of this album. I don't really see a fault in it. It matches the vibe and it matches the concept, and I think that's a good thing, you know. It really matches the whole like space flower garden type aesthetic that she's going for. And I said that if you are into this kind of like space type concept, especially from like groups from 우주소녀 or like, yeah, I feel like 우주소녀, you're probably like this artist as well, so go check her out. Now, first and foremost, I am very much aware that this album came out in April. I only found out about this album like literally on the first day of May, which is like the day after this album came out, so I'm counting it as a May release. I don't know, I'm counting it as a May release, you guys, so yeah, I'm breaking the rules right here, but it's my channel, and I make the rules, and I break my own rules. Dang it. Alright, so EAEON is an artist that I have known of for a very long time. However, it is the kind of artist that has always been etched at the back of my brain, but I always thought that it's like some sort of like a vague memory that I had, because back when I started studying K-pop, I listened to a few indie songs here and there, and I clearly remember listening to some of their songs, but I never remember to go back to it often, and that's why it always remained as like a vague, foggy memory at the back of my head. So when they released their full-length album in like almost a decade, like sheesh, it's been almost a decade since they last released their album. I think like the last time they released an album was back in 2012 when I first got into K-pop, maybe that's why. So yeah, a decade later they came back, and I was like, oh wait, I know this name, kinda, I don't know, but I checked it out, and it's nice. I don't remember what they sounded like back in 2012, but if they still sound like this, then that's a really amazing. It's really amazing how they're able to still be consistent with their sound even a decade of not putting out material. So that's really something else. And also, I know a lot of people might know about this release because Namjoon was in the title track, I believe. I mean, that's also part of the reason why I checked out this album as well, because like, I saw Namjoon's name in the title, and like at first when I saw his name, I was like, wait, is that another artist with like the same name, stage name as Namjoon? And I'm like, wait, that's actually him. Shit. Okay then. Okay, Namjoon, I see you. So yeah, this is a very nice album, very chill hoppy, I would say. I mean, you guys know, 5 months of this series, you guys probably know by now, I love my chill hop stuff, but there's also some very eerie stuff in there, just like the last album. There's like undertones of like uneasiness and like spookiness inside there, almost that is very like like very just surreal and just very like it gives you the chills down your spine, that kind of stuff. And it really achieves that using the synths and really creepy sound design on the album. I would say that it's also sonically similar to the Down album from last month, where it's like chill hop / R&B, but like with a very uneasy, eerie twist to it. And it makes for a really good Halloween album. I mean, like, if you have songs like Mad Tea Party featuring Swervy, how can this not be in the next Halloween playlist? Well, I mean, I did include that song in my last year's Halloween playlist, so I was really happy to see it in this album. I really love Mad Tea Party. I think it's like my favorite song on the album, especially since Swervy is in it, which, I mean, goodness knows how much I love Swervy and her rap style. But yeah, I would say that if you want something to put in your next Halloween playlist, granted Halloween is still like months and months away, but if you guys want something in your Halloween playlist, might recommend this album, because it is very just chill and spooky and chilling. Chill and chilling. Hey, it's a chill hop album, but like it's chill like as in like scary, chill, hop, hip hop, double meaning much? Wow. 누가 뭐래도 좋아 너와 뭐래도 이 세상에 존재한. Now, I don't know much about TAKEONE. I do know that he has been around for a long time, but I never really got to listening to this material until now. And when I first got into it, I was like, okay, this reminds me of something. Halfway through the album, I was like, oh wait, this reminds me of something, but I cannot quite put my finger on it. And then by the end of the album, I was like, wait, this album sounds like the Persona 5 soundtrack. Like, it has the, or it doesn't sound like it, but it sure has those vibes. If you haven't listened to the Persona 5 soundtrack, I highly recommend you guys do, because it really captures the feeling of like being in a bustling city in the daytime. And it's just really like, you can put this album on when you're commuting on public transport or you're taking a walk. It's just so like, it's such a outside album, you know what I mean? Like it just captures the feeling of daytime, being the daytime in a crowded place. Well, I mean, if we can be in a crowded place, because I mean, we can't, because pandemic shit. But like, just imagine that you're in a city, like a very busy city, and you're just walking around trying to look for stuff in the daytime, and this album would be your playlist. It has that sort of bustling city energy, because a lot of the song titles on this album are based off like cities or like districts and stuff like that, which really is fitting for this kind of theme of the album. So you would think that you're listening to this kind of like Persona 5 type album in the beginning, but by the third act of this album, it just gets really weird. Like, you started hearing like maniacal laughter, you heard people cussing, you hearing people just yelling in fear, and you're starting to wonder what the heck is going on. Did he just turn into a phantom thief and enter the shadow realm? Like, what the heck is going on? And you just felt really uneasy, but then by the end everything just went back to normal, and you're like, okay, what the heck just happened there? So I think the main reason why it reminded me of a Persona 5 soundtrack is because not only the first two acts on the album really represents like the normal life of the protagonist, but then like the third act of the album represents like your alter ego shadow thief, phantom thief persona, that you're beating the bad guys, stealing hearts, and changing their minds, and beating the villains and stuff like that. Like, how can you not think of Persona 5 when you listen to this album, seriously? But yeah, I like it though. It's such a really good public transport album. I would definitely listen to it on my next public transport trip. Like, give me a big old train ride and I'll listen to this album. For sure.
Why you turn your back on me? Pura no bit.
Miss AILEE is back! The queen of vocals is back! I haven't listened to AILEE in a hot minute. Oh my god, I remember when I first got into K-pop, she was like one of the biggest soloists of the time. Like in the early third generation, AILEE was such a very, like a force to be reckoned with. She had such strong vocals and everyone loved her and adored her and her music. She's such a queen and I'm so happy to see her making music again. I think she might have released an album last year, which is a ballad album, like an autumn ballad album, and I like that album well enough. That album made me cry. The music video also made me cry. I would say it's not something that I'll personally revisit, but like I remember having a good impression of it. But now that she's back again and she released a spring themed album, I love this album way more than her last year's autumn album for sure, because I mean, I love my spring stuff. I don't know why. I know you guys are like, Yasmin, we get it. You like your chill hop stuff. You like your spring stuff. It's written in the stones already. It's written in the stones since the day one. But yeah, I love this album. I remember listening to this album like while I was jogging, and I felt so much fun listening to it. It's such a good spring album in the sense that it's very like acoustic-y and like very just overall upbeat and positive and hopeful, but there's also like glimmers of like summer warmth in it, especially in like tracks where there is like flourishes of like tropical house and EDM inside there, and it really adds on to the spring quality of the album. It's a spring album, but like it's very different in the sense that it's also signaling that the end of spring is coming near and summer is coming soon. And you guys know that when summer comes, everyone, their moms would release summer stuff. In K-pop, summer is such a very like well celebrated season over there, because like, you know, who doesn't love summer, right? But yeah, I think that with this album she's definitely like having hints of summer warmth inside there, but also it's still a spring album. And of course, for sure, AILEE's vocals are still amazing as always. And yeah, I couldn't ask for a better album. Welcome back, AILEE. I've missed you. We've all missed you. And keep blessing us with those vocals, miss.
What a feeling, feels so good.
As long as I've been a K-pop stan, I have heard of this name time and time again. KYUNG is someone who I have listened to like a handful of songs here and there, like maybe just like one or two songs that he has released, you know what I mean, or like several that I've in the last decade I've been a K-pop stan, because I've seen his name everywhere, so of course you cannot not listen to his songs, right? But in terms of albums, I never really listened to what his albums sound like, so when I saw that he released a new album, I was like, okay, let's see what he has. And I say that it's just as expected. I think he delivered the like really like the persona that I in my head, which is like balladeer, really sentimental vocals. But like, oh my god, guys, as soon as I saw the title track, I was just smiling from ear to ear. For what? The music video just made me smile for some reason. Like, there's something so endearing about seeing a first generation balladeer busting it out on the dance floor. Like, look at those moves. Don't tell me he doesn't have the moves. Look at him. Look at his moves. This man can dance. Like, not only he can sing, but this man can dance. Okay? Like, I know it's not like, you know, dance, but he's dancing. I was fully expecting him to just sit by the windowsill, serenading to the sky, ballad, full-on spring acoustic ballad, that kind of stuff. I did not expect this like very like chill, acoustic-y, R&B type dance number. What the heck? That blew my mind. I'm not laughing at his dancing skills though. I mean, goodness knows I can't dance, but I mean, like, look at it. It's just so endearing to look at, you know what I mean? Like, it just makes me so happy for some reason. Like, the music video especially, it reminded me of like a mix of Ha Sung-woon's Bird and Yoon Ji-sung's Love Story, and like they honestly could be in the same family though. Like the visuals, the music video concept, the theme, and just the type of songs that they make, it just matches, you know what I mean? I was like, has he ever done a Ha Sung-woon, Yoon Ji-sung type song in his career? Especially like, he's been there for decades, right? Has he done a song like that before? I don't remember. If this is his first time doing it, kudos to him for challenging something new this late in his career. Because honestly, I didn't see that coming. I was just expecting, you know what, I'm just gonna get a ballad, I'm just gonna be like comforted, chicken soup for the soul, and I'll be okay with that. But like, he's dancing! And look at him! Look at his moves! Look at him! I'm like a grandchild hyping their grandfather up, like, yeah, grandpa, go, you go, grandpa, go bust that move on the dance floor. But yeah, aside from the really wholesome title track, the rest of the album is a ballad album. But let's just say that the ballad album is just well made, because not all the songs are ballads. Like, some of them are like upbeat acoustic stuff, some of them are like R&B stuff, you know what I mean? And he really knows how to pace the album in a way that is not like the entire album is full of ballads. Take note, balladeers. Take note. If y'all want to make a ballad album, don't make every single song sound the same. And that goes for every like genre specification out there. But if you want to make an album, I think for me, I don't like it when an album just sounds tonally the same throughout. And especially like balladeers are very, very like prone to do this. They fall in the trap easily, where it's just like, because they're a balladeer, they feel like they have to make every single song a ballad. And when they do that, it kind of feels like every song on the album just feels like one long 40-minute song, instead of like separate songs telling a different story, or like holding together in a sort of narrative through line, but then still sounding a little bit diverse throughout. And this album definitely does the job well. I mean, the title track itself not a ballad for first and foremost, but I mean, like, the 14-track album is a very nice listen, in the sense that, you know, every few songs of ballad songs, there's like an upbeat song, and then every few songs ballad, and then upbeat song, then every few songs, and you have like an interest. Now, he keeps it tonally diverse, even though like all the songs sound like tonally sonically similar, but like he keeps like different tempos, or like different like rhythms throughout the album. Like, it just keeps it like slightly diverse throughout, which I really enjoy about this album. I say that he did a good job with this. I know a lot of people might not like this album because, I mean, it's a ballad album. I don't think like a lot of my audience would like this easy listening stuff, but if you guys like easy listening stuff, give this man a listen, or at least give his title track listen. Like, sheesh, it will make your day, honestly. Like, it will make you smile, okay? Like, it's just so wholesome and warm and fuzzy, and I love that. Now, it's been almost a year, or like over a year, since Kwon Sonyeol had the last comeback, and honestly, I was worried that they might not release music ever again, but I'm so happy that they came back with a brand new album. And honestly, Kwon Sonyeol is one of those girl groups that is really just unique in concept. I really love their concept. They have this sort of like outer space type concept, but like the way that is similar to Uju Sonyeol's concept, know what I mean? Like, when Uju Sonyeol's concept is more of like space princesses, you know what I mean? Face or space fairy type concept. Kwon Sonyeol is more of like space explorers. I don't know how to explain this in a way that makes the most sense, but they're like exploring the dark side of space and really finds excitement in like the dark side of space, you know what I mean? Talking about the dark side, why was I thinking of Star Wars? But yeah, Uju Sonyeol explores like, you know, the fun side of space, you know, like fairies and like bright stuff and stuff like that. Kwon Sonyeol finds joy in exploring the dark side of space, like, you know, the dark side of the moon, like, you know, this album, The Other Side of the Moon, which is a very mysterious album. There's the word, mysterious. There it is. That's the word. It's a very mysterious album. I love how this album, even though it's like very twinkly and like sparkly album, there is a hint of like really unique house sounds inside there, like, you know, deep house and like glitchy stuff and like very just intricate sound design, like future pop, future house, that kind of stuff. And they really played around with it a lot, especially in like the first half of the album. I especially really like it. I think the closest equivalent I can think of for Kwon Sonyeol is AB6. I think they might make the same type of music, like in the same family range, that kind of stuff. Especially like AB6's their recent Mo Complete Have a Dream album, or like their Sixth Sense album, I believe. I think they might be tonally similar to AB6 in that regard, but not quite. But I think they're pretty similar. So I think if you like AB6, you definitely like, and you want to get into a girl group, you like Kwon Sonyeol, I think. I also really like how romantic this album is, especially like the last two songs, which I really find to be so romantic and like chill and stuff like that. They're very slow songs, are like very jazzy and like love struck and stuff like that. I think the last song really is similar to their Wonder Boy from the last album, which is very jazzy and smooth, and I really like that kind of sound. I think that is my favorite song on the album, I think. But I also really like EAEON. That's also a really cute song. Oh, Starry Night, chill hop song, Hello, they came true, okay? So yeah, I'm really happy to see them back again. Kwon Sonyeol is back. I'm so happy to see them again. I hope they're here to stay. I really do hope they do, because they are such a really unique girl group in this landscape of K-pop, and I really, really do not want them to go away anytime soon. I've been hyping this girl up, I think, since January. She has been releasing music since January, and oh my god, everything she releases is just pure gold. I love her music so much. I think I discovered her like last year with Airplane Mode, and I never looked back since. She has such a very unique voice, and she makes the kind of music that I like, which is like chill hop stuff. I think like of the discoveries that I have like in late last year and early this year, MOTTE and Depth are definitely some of my favorite finds, absolute favorite finds of that period of time, because they both make the kind of music that I like. So yeah, I love this album to bits. It is a very recent album. Like, I was waiting for her to release an album, and she finally delivered with this very cute chill hop stuff, acoustic stuff, and oh my god, her voice is just so unique. I love her voice. She kind of has like a similar but not quite ish voice to like Jiyoung from like Porsa, but not quite, you know what I mean, like this kind of indie girl type voice, you know what I mean. But I really like it. Really fits her style of music, especially like songs like I need water, help. This album is very cute in a way, especially since that each track on the album's name is like detailing some of her favorite things, the things that I like the most. It's such a cute concept for an album. Like, I was looking at, oh okay, so this is all her favorite things, you know, especially like, you know, it a la, you know, Julia Roberts in The Sound of Music, na, 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 you know, the favorite things song, these are my favorite things, something like that. I don't know what I was thinking, but Yeah, I was like, okay, so we have fireplace, non-alcohol. We love a non-alcoholic sister, okay? And then we have like flower pots. We love a green thumb. And also walk. We love a sister that likes to go on a walk. So yeah, most of these are my favorite things too. And I'm like, yes, girl, same. These are my favorite things too. That's why I relate to her in a way. I think that's the reason why I relate to MOTTE in a way, because she's such a wholesome girl, and her music is just also so wholesome as well. So yeah, I think that if you guys want a wholesome artist to listen to, then go check her out. I love her. She's amazing. I immediately got transported back to when I was like in secondary school again, or like primary school even, because Highlight, or they used to be called Beast back then, they were like my first ever K-pop group ever. So their return just makes me so happy, and especially since that they haven't made an album in 3 years. I think their last release was back in 2018. So I was so happy to see them again. Welcome back, Highlight. Hello. All right. So they released a spring album, of course, because they really it means the springtime, you know, and their style of music definitely fits the spring a lot. Their style of music is definitely very sentimental driven dance pop music, which is what they've been known to do, and I think that's also what Beast has been known to do for a long time as well. And that's the music that I really got into. Man, I remember like back in the days when I think Shock was my first ever Beast song, I think. And that was like, okay, so this is what if this is what K-pop is about, sign me up, because the song is really good. And like I listened to more of the songs like Beautiful, Fiction, oh my god, especially Fiction, iconic song. And then like Beautiful Night, and oh my god, your ballad songs are especially really good, especially like 2:30, no, not 2:30, 12:30, and like what was it again? What was that song? On Rainy Days, iconic B-side. On Rainy Days, walk so Dolphin can run. Yes, we love an iconic B-side. It's also like Ribbon, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. There's also what was that song called? Like, they can do anything really. They can make dance pop music, they can make like sentimental music, and it's really nice that they go the sentimental route in this comeback, because especially like the song title track Not the End, which is very hopeful. I think that this song is like similar to like 101's Spring Breeze, and especially, oh my god, this album especially is very similar to the entire Power of Destiny album by 101, in a sense that it's very just hopeful and just very sentimental driven pop music with like flourishes of like future pop-ish, something like that, which also like acoustic stuff, chill hop stuff, and it just makes you feel hopeful inside, and it just sounds really perfect for the spring season. I love it so much. I think Not the End was like one of my most played songs of the month, and rightfully so, because it's just so breezy. It sounds like the Spring Breeze. It sounds like my channel name. And it just sounds so hopeful inside. Like, yes, we're here to stay. It's not the end. We'll never leave. We're gonna keep making music, and I love that for them. They're really reassuring us that they will never leave our side. And yes, we love icons. We love legends. We love that for them. And also the music video is also really nice as well. I love the floral motifs in there. I love the color palette. The only thing that really sends me is like while everybody else is like filming like Spring Breeze by 101, I don't think KHUNDI got the memo, and he's like, you know what, we're filming Libido by only one of you guys. Like the bathtub scene, like look at him like staring seductively in the camera in the bathtub. Like, he's just filming an entire different music video altogether. We love that for him, okay? And the rest of the songs are actually really nice as well. There's like really nice flourishes of like dance pop, chill hop, R&B, and it really makes for a very cohesive album, and it also might have been like my absolute favorite album of the month. Really, it's just a really cohesive album overall, and I'm not so sure how this stacks out in their discography though. I haven't listened to any of their albums in a long time, so I've forgotten what most of their albums sound like. I probably should go back to them at some point, but I say that on its own, it's just a spectacular release, and it's just a much needed breath of fresh air amongst other boy groups, because like we needed some wholesome sentimental energy from boy group sounds. I think that HEIZE is able to provide that sort of sentimentality inside the boy group scene, and I'm sure that a lot of people appreciate it as well. Granted, I know that lots of people might not have listened to this album yet, so if you guys haven't, I strongly recommend for you to go check out Highlight. I check out Beats as well, because their old music was also bomb as well. I was having a nostalgia trip for the entire month listening to their old stuff. I mean, like, isn't everyone these days having a nostalgia trip too? Like, I mean, me with Highlight and the entire South Korea with like SG Wannabe and like NSUNG, I think. Like, I think her old song also recently got popular. And man, the NSUNG song, I forgotten about it completely. So when I saw it back on the charts and I re-listened to it, I was like, yo, that reminded me of 2012. I was brought back to that time. I forgot how much I loved the song, but man, back in then I was so obsessed with it. Man, everyone was having a nostalgia trip all around. Like, yeah, we all aboard the nostalgia train, baby. Choo choo, chugga chugga. Welcome back, Highlight. It's good to see you guys again, and yeah, it's nice to know that you guys are here to stay. Holy long voiceover, Batman. It's almost 50 minutes since I did this voiceover. Hello? How long have I been rambling? And it's only 12 albums. Sheesh. But yeah, let's get this over with. So finally we have my number one album of the month, and finally, for the first time in this series, a female artist takes the number one spot. Finally. Yes. Finally. Oh my god. I was like thinking, okay, the first four number one albums of the month have been dudes, but like, where are the girls? The girls need to have their number one moment too. Finally, OHMYGIRL came true with this mini album, and they said, hey, let's sit on the throne, baby. And they took the number one spot, and they became a number one album of the month. Yes, queens. So OHMYGIRL is back. Best girls. I love them. And I've been wanting to talk about OHMYGIRL's music for so long. I love their music, and I think this album, not only it's my number one album of the month, I think it's my absolute favorite album in their discography overall. Which, I mean, in the discography they had such really good albums in there as well. I mean, they had like The Fifth Season, which is their first full-length album, and then they have the masterpiece that is Pink Ocean, and Windy Day, the repackage, and then their Closer album is also pretty good as well. And even though like it's not like top 5 my discography, last year's Nonstop album is also an iconic album of theirs as well, especially since that it really catapulted them to stardom. Especially, you know, everyone in South Korea and their moms are just, you know, jamming out to Nonstop, and Dolphin, which, I mean, I don't blame them. Dolphin is catchy as hell. I mean, it's 2021, everyone is still going da 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 da. Whoo! Like, seriously. But yeah, and I'm really happy that the entire South Korea is also on board with this title chart as well, Dun Dun Dance, which at the time of its release, I think it's second on the Melon charts, and it's only below BTS's Butter. Which, I mean, if you're just second to BTS's Butter, that means you have such an impactful song. My goodness. Go OHMYGIRL. Wow. But also go BTS. Go Butter. So yeah, I have so much to talk about this album, to be honest. One of the things that I want to talk about this album first and foremost is how much that this album just really makes me so happy for some reason. This album is very different from their other albums in the sense that it's very like personal, you know what I mean? Like it's very sentimental driven, and it's full of easy listening genres, you know, like you have slower songs, chill hop, R&B, pop ballads, that kind of stuff. And it really matches their image for some reason. Like I always seen them as like a fairy princess type concept. So I think that as they mature musically, naturally they're gonna go into this route as well. And I think they really know how to do it in a way that really fits their image very well. Like they always have made like very fairy type whimsical kind of music. So when they make this kind of songs, it just sounds like them for some reason. It doesn't sound like anyone else but them. Let's just go through these songs one by one. Like why not? Because there's a lot to unpack in this album. Why not? We're already 15 minutes in this voiceover. Let's just go all out, shall we? I don't know how I'm gonna deal with it in editing later on. Future me will have to figure that shit out. All right. So let's start off with the first song, Dun Dun Dance. It's such a very like disco-y retro type song, and it's so hopeful, it's so happy, it's so wholesome, and it made me cry. Like what is it with like WM artists like wanting to make me cry in like their recent title tracks, like Beyond A4 with like a movie, I cried. On Off with Beautiful Beautiful, I cried. Oh My Girl with Dun Dun Dance, I cried. Like y'all, if I ever get to do the the WM genre breakdown like at some point this year, I don't know, I would probably be like a big crying mess. I'll be just a little puddle, like a crying, weeping puddle. Because if these songs make me cry, then what about their entire discographies? Do they make me cry? Will they make me cry? Will I cry when I do the genre breakdown? Who the heck knows? But yeah, they make me cry. But yeah, rest assured it's tears of joy, because it just makes me so happy to see that there's people still spreading positivity in the landscape of a community where everything just feels so negative and just feels so like you see like negative news around you, and like so much people like fan wars and like negative press and like all that horrid stuff, or like people complaining here and there, that glimmers of hope like these that shows that the positive side of K-pop really makes me so happy. And that made me cry, because there is still hope in the world. There's still positivity left in the world, and I believe that. So kudos to Oh My Girl and just the rest of WM in general for spreading positivity overall. And I love the message of the song as well. I love how the message of the song is basically just, we're just a tiny speck in the grand scheme of the universe. But however tiny of a specimen we are still important. And that's a really, really important message, because yeah, sometimes we might feel that we are insignificant, but you have a place on this earth as well. And not only I believe that, but Oh My Girl believes this as well. You have a place on this earth. And also, one of the other messages in the song is to just embrace yourself. Don't let the magic within you die. And I think that's also a central theme of like a lot of WM's like recent songs, is never let the magic inside you die down. Like in Beautiful Beautiful, they have this kind of like burning passion for youth and stuff like that. Then you have like a movie by Beyond A4 that really embraces the whole like fantasy element, like whimsical fantasy element that takes you on a fairy tale and stuff like that. And Oh My Girl also has that kind of like, they invite you to dance, but also to never let the positivity and magic in you die down, which ultimately I think is a message that everyone should adapt. Because yeah, don't let the magic inside you die down. As we get older, it's easy to forget how to be happy. Like sometimes I also forget to be happy sometimes, especially since that I still deal with a lot of like mental health issues, and I also struggle to be positive all the time. It's very hard to stay optimistic. but I'm very happy to have groups like OHMYGIRL to tell me that, hey, you know, just take it slow, take baby steps, you know what I mean? Being positive is a healthy mindset, but it shouldn't be immediate. You still have to take it slow, but you should never let the positivity in you die down, and like never let the negativity of the world weigh you down, and just let love and the good of yourself overpower everything. And I like that message. It's just, I mean, of course the core message of the song is just to get your ass up and dance. I mean, yeah, shake your body on the dance floor, you know, just dance off, bro. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, there's also like these like messages in there that makes me feel so happy, you know. What else do I want to talk about? Oh my god, I have a lot of points about this album. Yeah, it's a very good spring album. Okay, I did write spring album in my notes. Okay, so it's a very good spring album, especially like songs like Dear You, My Doll, and Who Comes Who Knows, which is like very like spring type. It flows like the wind, you know. But there's also like a very atmospheric wall of sound that also just makes it sound more beautiful, and especially songs like My Doll, which is very like, I don't know, the production of My Doll is just so unique. I love the layering of the vocals with like the raw like real vocals and like the processed like robot type vocals that are layered on top of each other in the chorus especially, and the glitches in the post-chorus. I think that not enough K-pop fans acknowledge how unique My Doll is, so go check it out if you haven't already. That is such a really good song, like very unique song. And speaking of unique, another song that is really unique and is my personal favorite, Quest, is such a very good song as well. Now, we all know by now I love my chill hop. I also love my video games, and this song is really cute. I love the lyrics of the song and how it's like a journey, like it really like it describes itself as like a video game of sorts. Like, hey, we're gonna collect items and we're gonna explore the land and stuff like that. I met you and we're gonna be partners and we're gonna go on a journey together and we're gonna collect items, and oh my god, the lyrics are so cute. I probably should stop right now as well. But yeah, all the songs are good. Dun Dun Dance, Dear You, My Doll, Quest, Who Comes Who Knows, Swan, all the songs are really good. Really cohesive album. I could probably talk for the next 20 minutes about this for some reason. But yeah, it just sounds like spring. To wrap this all up, this album is really, really good. It's so cohesive. It's something that it's something that is missing in girl group sounds these days. That kind of very just wholesome positivity, and also just sounds just the spring album in general. I don't think like there's girl groups this year that are releasing like spring theme albums. So thank you OHMYGIRL for releasing spring album this year. But yeah, stan OHMYGIRL, stan the talent. Go listen to their song. Dun Dun Dance is a bop. Best girls, we love them. And that's a wrap. Psych! We have more to talk about. So the big chunk of voiceover that earlier was all recorded on the 30th of May, when I assumed that there's nothing that came out. Wait, not 30th. I think it was the 29th of May. Yeah, I think it is. When I assumed that there might not be any interesting albums that came out on the 30th and the 31st. But apparently they are. So I'm doing an Ascension voiceover. There's no specific sequence to this. There's no specific ranking to this. I'm just gonna have to blabber out any album that came into my mind, whatever I want to talk about, whatever album I caught up on the 30th and 31st. I'm just gonna vomit it out, vomit it out. Yeah, it's gonna be just full-on freestyling from this point onward. No notes. I didn't make any notes for these albums, by the way. I'm just gonna have to just remember what points I need to make out of the top of my head. Hopefully I can make legit points, but mostly it's gonna be nonsense. Hopefully it makes sense though. Alright, so these are the 4 additional albums that I want to talk about this month. Oh My Girl's album is still my favorite of the month though, but these 4 albums are, I can't leave them out. Seriously, they're really good too. So yeah, let's talk about more albums. Yay. Now, I forgot about this album when I did the initial 12 that I want to talk about this month, and I left that album out, so I'm including it in right now. My mistake. Oops. So Sweet and Laundry is this duo that I found out since last year. I think because they collaborated with Park Ji-hoon on his Message album. So I found out about them through that, and I think because of the Message album, I also checked out their album from September last year, which is After Image. Wait, no, it is Lyric something Part 1. I'm putting the title on the screen. I can't remember right now. It's 8:30 in the morning and I have work to do in an hour. So yeah. But yeah, I love their album from last year. I think that was a really solid autumn album, to be honest though. But this album I definitely can get into a lot better because, again, spring album. What more can I say? Their spring album definitely leans more into the evening hours of spring, which you may also can call it an autumn album of sorts, like an autumn album in May. But I'm taking it as a spring album because there are some elements in the album that really has that sort of spring-like vibe to it, like the kind of like optimism, the jumpiness, and like the positivity of like walking and frolicking in the fields. And in this case, they're frolicking in the fields in the evening hours. So that's why I said that this is a spring album in evening, because there's not enough albums that talk about the evening days, right? You know, most spring albums just tend to talk about the spring days, like, you know, like the sunny skies and the breeze and stuff like that. But not many albums tackle the soundscape of spring in the evening and nighttime hours. So I'm really happy that Sweet and Laundry tackled that spectrum of spring songs, you know what I mean? I also really like the production on this album. It's not your typical spring album. There is like a hint of production in there that really adds on to the album. I heard they're also like a folktronica type duo, so maybe that's why they had like really intricate electronic sound design in there, or like some really additional like production flares that they added into it, like the cascading soundscapes, the lush sound, reverb, that kind of stuff, technical stuff, you know what I mean? And that kind of technical stuff is what adds on to the acoustic quality of the album, and it makes for a really interesting listen in general. So yeah, it definitely adds more 3D-ness to the acoustic album of sorts, and as always, I think that they did an amazing job. So far from what I've heard from Sweet and Laundry, they seem to impress me so far, and I hope they continue to impress me because I really like their style of music. So hopefully we'll see what they come up with in the future, but so far I'm digging their sound. I like it. So this album came out yesterday. When I do this voiceover, it was yesterday, and I was like wanting to checking out because I adored the album art. The album art is so adorable. Probably one of my top favorite album art of the year. It's like watercolor painting style with like spring pastel colors type aesthetic, and I really like it. So yeah, the artist won me over with the album art. So I went to the album expecting something good, and I left the album feeling satisfied. I liked the album a lot, you would say. I expected a spring album right off the get-go because I mean it is the album art suggests that sometimes like album art really describes the theme of the album. It's not an aspect that I highlight a lot in the series, but a good album art really just highlights what the listener needs to know before entering the album sometimes, because if you gave your listeners a good album art to look at beforehand, before they get into the goods, what's the point I'm trying to make right here? The point I'm trying to make is that a good album art is a bonus. That's all I'm saying. Oh man. But yeah, I love this album so much. The spring vibe to this album is definitely on an all-time high. This kind of spring album is definitely like more on the dance pop side, I would say, because a lot of the spring albums tend to be more acoustic focused or like folk pop focused, you know what I mean, or like chill hop focused. So I like that this album, as well as AILEE's spring album, is more electronic, dance pop based for a change. It definitely is a nice change of pace, and it really highlights the broad spectrum of spring releases that South Korea has to offer, you know what I mean, which is really interesting and cool. I especially love her voice. I think her voice is really cute. I melted when I first heard her voice. I have never heard of this artist before, you can say, but I don't know if this is her only work or if she has other work, but if she does have other works, I might check her out because this is really good. I strongly recommend you guys check it out if you guys haven't already. This is just really cute. Cute album art, cute dance pop focus songs, cute spring album, cute voice, cute aesthetics, cute everything. That's all I have to say.
When did I grow up? Step out of my...
I love him, guys. I love him so much. So Jacob released a mini album on SoundCloud on his birthday. What do we do to deserve this man? What do we do to deserve this man? Oh my god. Oh my god, where do I begin with this album? Oh my goodness. So, on the topic of self-produced albums by K-pop idols that are not released via like distributing companies, but rather on their own accord on like platforms such as SoundCloud and YouTube Music and stuff like that, I think that this kind of freedom that the boys have with creating music on the side to showcase what kind of music that they personally like to do is a really nice touch, because normally like when as a group you see that the boys tend to do like a specific style of music, but on their own, like I think like several members like so far has released music, you know, Sangyeon, Sonu, and Jacob, they release like music on their own accord, and so far you get to see like what individual styles that they have. I think even in their A to Z cover series, you can see like their individualities in what kind of music they'd like to do, but especially in their SoundCloud music, like you get to see like the members like individual like music preferences, what music they like to do, what music they like to tackle, and something like that. I've went into their SoundCloud music in depth thanks to my what's it called, genre breakdown Kingdom video, and honestly, I think like all the members that release music on SoundCloud so far has displayed their individualities really well so far. I mean, of course, you know, you gotta love Sangyeon and Sonu for releasing chill hop shit. I mean, I sure do. I mean, best boys, am I right? But like when it comes to Jacob, he released like this acoustic style music or like really like ambient type folk pop kind of affair, and it really matches him so well. Like it matches his image to the T. Like I always see him as like the boy next door with the guitar, playing his guitar and like playing like old pop songs from like the late 2000s and early 2010s. Like he would be in the next door playing songs like Jason Mraz or like Train or like Neon Trees or something like that. I don't know, but or Neon. Why am I saying all that? I think he also might play like a little bit of like if you had a bad day. Who sang that song? Daniel Powter? Is that his name? I think that's his name. Yeah, I think he would. And like, oh my god, he would also play like Nelly Furtado. Nelly Furtado and I'm like a bird and I fly away. Like he would play songs like that. Oh my god, where's? Oh my god, where am I going with this? Okay, so knowing that fact, he went to take that aspect and created a cohesive album of his own, and it really tickled me. It really excites me in a sense because I like it when K-pop idols themselves know what music style they want to go for, even if they're not offered like a solo gig like up front, and they're just like, you know what, you can just make music on the side and stuff like that. Even if they, and you can definitely tell that he has a passion for this kind of music as well. I mean, seeing that he's already making it on the side, and I say that he really delivers that folk pop, acoustic pop aspect that he really likes. I mean, you can tell that he really likes the style of music that he makes in this album, which I add is a really cohesive one. In fact, I really like the pacing of this album. Surprisingly has better pacing than most albums I've heard this year. And that's from SoundCloud, okay? Oh man. There are some really amazing songs in there, especially like on songs like First Track With You and Last Track Birdcage. Those songs are my favorite songs on the album because it really highlights the best of his vocal abilities and also the best that he can offer as a musician. You know, musician with the really strong command of like the genre and like the soundscapes that he makes. Yeah, every single song in there is a track for track bop, and I think that I'll probably be more cohesive when I talk about like K-pop idols who release albums on their own accord, like on SoundCloud and stuff like that. Like, you know how some K-pop idols release like mixtapes on SoundCloud, like track for track. It's not like a full like album release, but like a mixtape release, you know what I mean? Like they release on YouTube or SoundCloud, stuff like that. I think this is a topic that I really want to tackle sometime soon in the future because I'm really interested in it. So I might be more cohesive with my thoughts on this album, of this album in that video. In this video, I'm just blabbering what nonsense like off the top of my head. But I think what I'm trying to say is that this album is fantastic. I really like his individuality that he has shown through this album. I hope the boys members got to release their own mini albums through SoundCloud. That would be super freaking awesome. Like, oh my god. But yeah, go give Jacob a listen on SoundCloud. He's amazing. I love him. I love the boys so much. They're one of my ultimate boy groups ever. I just love them so much, you guys. And also, hoping for the best for them on Kingdom finals. Let's hope for the best for them. At the time of this filming, Kingdom final hasn't happened yet. But when I'm editing this, finals have probably happened. So editing me will let you know if they did good on the show or not. But if they did good on the show, congratulations to the boys. If they didn't, they did their best. I'm still proud of them nonetheless. I love them with all my heart and soul. And I'll still continue to support them whenever, whatever. And yeah, stand the boys, stand the talent. That's all I'm saying. And finally, we have the album that knocked my socks off when I first heard it. Yikes! This album knocked my socks off. Holy crap. Okay, so I mentioned before in my 101 April recap video that AB6 is my favorite 4th gen boy group discography. A second might be T by T though. I don't know, they might be a close second though. It might be them or CIX. It's between them and CIX for my second favorite boy group discography of the 4th generation. It's neck and neck, I would say, but T by T definitely has a really good command of like what style and sound and concept they want to do, and I really like it for them. This album is very solid, on par with their discography. I would say that this is right up there with my favorite T by T album, which is the Dream Chapter Magic, the one with Runaway and the masterpieces that are 20 centimeters and the Itchy song, Roller Coaster, there it is. I call it the Itchy song. The Itchy, okay. And the long ass title, the where the monsters, the blah blah blah. I'm putting the title on the screen. I forgot the name right now, but it's a long ass title, but I like that song the most. Yeah, this album is on par with the Magic album because I love how as the album slowly progresses, it gets more and more chaotic. Hey, just like this video. Hey, and me and T by T has something in common, you know, this album and this video, you know, as far as this video progresses, it gets more and more chaotic and I get less and less cohesive and coherent as the video progresses. Oh my god, bestie, twinsies. But yeah, the first time I heard T by T's title track, 0 times 1 equals love song, which might I add sounds like one of 101's albums for some reason. I promise you album 0 times 1 equals 1. Wait, is 0? Wait, no, it's not this one. It's the debut album 1 times 1 equals 1. Pull your shit together, Yasmin. Okay. So when I first heard the title track, I was immensely blown away. I love it so much. I think because like growing up, I used to listen to stuff like this. Especially like, you know, growing up I listened to songs like by Linkin Park and Green Day and Panic at the Disco and My Chemical Romance. So something along those lines, like really like just really grungy, like punk rock, pop rock, alternative rock, that kind of stuff. And this song really tickled my like teenage days, you know what I mean? That kind of teenage years where I listened to this kind of stuff a lot, and it really took me back to those days. It's very nostalgic sounding, but also this just makes you want to get out, run to an open field and just yell to the sky at night. My goodness, this is such a fantastic song. You can definitely yell this song in the karaoke one day. It's so grungy and so like it really highlights the pain of youth in a way, you know what I mean? And also the pain of young love, which T by T really does a good job on. T by T really knows how to highlight like different aspects of youth and highlights them in a very nuanced way, which is the reason why they're a voice for the teenagers of this generation. Like one of my subbies point out in my March album phase video, which I mean, y'all kids are lucky because to have T by T, because they make music for the teenagers and they really like are the voice of Generation Z in a sense, because yeah, they really know how to highlight modern issues, tackle modern teenage issues in a way that really resonates to the whole of Gen Z. And I'm very jealous of y'all to have, because you guys have a group like T by T to listen to and rely on as like and look up to as like a figure of teenagehood. I mean, back then I used to have like figures like A Pink and Beast to look up to as my figures of teenhood. and that I can really look up to. So you kids these days have like your weeklies and your T by T's and your N hyphens and to look up to as like the voice of teenhoods. Seriously, you guys don't know how good you guys have it, because like, not to compare like music back then to now, because obviously there's like a lot of good merits with music from K-pop, from like old K-pop and like K-pop from like the first, second, third, and fourth generations. There's like merits to be found in those generations, but you guys are pretty lucky to have like very nuanced groups that have like nuanced musicalities as well. Not to say that the old groups are not good musically, and all of them are good, but you guys have like groups like T by T and Stray Kids and ATEEZ and then Hyphen that really know how to push the boundaries when it comes to music and just challenge new genres, while also tackle topics and subjects that the modern teenagers can really resonate to, which you guys should not take this for granted. You really shouldn't take this for granted at all, because they really are the voice for you guys, and yeah, appreciate them, you know what I mean? Like, just appreciate their voices. Well, not to say that these groups are good and the old K-pop is bad, not good. All of them are good. I keep saying this, but all of them are really good in their own ways. I grew up in a generation of K-pop where, like, you know, a lot of K-pop definitely teeters more on like love and stuff like that. Like, not many groups are tackling like nuanced issues on youth and stuff like that, which I really think that the new generation definitely excels at, in a way, you know what I mean? Especially like, you know, with these like modern generation groups that really tackle issues of self-confidence, like ITZY does, or like tackle stuff about teenagers, stuff that teenagers go through, like happy times, the sad times. And yeah, you guys should appreciate newer generation groups. And also to the people, the portion of the K-pop fan base, the old generation stans who look at new generation groups and think, man, this is the reason why old K-pop is good, because you kids these days and your beep boops and your electronic devices and stuff like that. Maybe you should consider looking at them with a fresh pair of eyes for once, because there's also good to be found in new generation K-pop, just like old generation K-pop. All generations of K-pop is good in their own ways. I'm just saying though, just be open-minded. But yeah, I digress. Yeah, I really digress here. But yeah, not only the title track is really good as well in tackling like issues of youth and stuff like that. Stuff like they tackle love in a way that is really like really relatable for the youth, but they also tackled it in like other songs as well, especially like songs like Anti-Romantic and What If I Have Been Puma. Is that the name of the song? I can't remember at this point, but I put the name on the screen. Boom, there's the name. Bam. Okay, this is the name. I think they tackled it in a way that really just cuts deep. And as someone like myself who's a young adult, I still felt that. I mean, I know, of course, T by T caters for the Gen Z the most, but as someone who's currently a young adult, I also felt those themes too, because yeah, growing up is a struggle. I understand. And growing up is a process that is different for every person, you know what I mean? And people are trying their best to grow up, and people are trying their best in life. So to have someone to understand how hard it is to grow up is really reassuring, because because T by T understands your struggles, and they're like someone to hold your hand through this journey. There's also some really unique production in this album that I really enjoy, especially in songs like Ice Cream and Magic. But oh my god, Magic is so good as well. It's such a really funky song. Like, oh my god. It not only there's like laces of like old, like not old, but like very like early 2010s rock music, early 2010s pop music in there, but also there's like traces of like retro stuff in there, like, you know, disco, funk, that kind of stuff, and they're really just unrelentingly like full of force and excitement, and that's what I like about that, you know, in that aspect, you know what I mean? And also, like, by the end of the album, you have Frost, which, let me just say, I was really scared when I first listened to Frost because it opens with maniacal laughter. Who is that? Who is laughing? And why do I feel like I'm gonna get my entire house robbed afterwards? Yeah, it definitely has that kind of villainous vibes, you know what I mean? But yeah, who did the laughter though? MOAs in my audience, let me know. Please let me know because I'm dying to know who's the laughter in the beginning of Frost. Please let me know. I love you guys. Okay. But yeah, not only that, but it really intimidates me throughout. Frost is like the most chaotic song of the entire entire track list. Like I said in the beginning, like track for track, the lower you go down this album, the more chaotic the songs get. And like by the end, Frost is just like, you know, like the boss battle song in like a video game, you know what I mean? Like, you know, in video games you have these like boss battle songs. This is the boss battle song. Yeah. But all in all, I think this is a really spectacular comeback from TYT yet again. I really like what they do musically and conceptually. I think they're one of those groups that will be well remembered over time as like a group with one of the most solid discographies ever, and one that I think would really last long for generations and will be the textbook not textbook, but like one of the like leading voices of this generation of teenagers, and the voice of the Gen Z and the voice of Gen 4 in K-pop specifically. I think more people should really get into TYT. Their music is definitely something else. They're built differently, and their discography is also one of the most solid I've ever heard. Listen to any one of their albums and you might see some really interesting lyrics, soundscapes, delivery, performance, emotion, and you're in for a ride when you're listening to one of their albums though. So yeah, stan TYT, stan the talent. And that's a wrap.
The following Thursday.
Psych again. So I was looking through my notes. I was making notes at work earlier and I saw this album in my notes and I was like, oh, it would be a waste if I don't talk about this album, right? So yeah, it's not a wrap yet. We still have one more album to go through, but I promise this will be the last album now. Shut up. But yeah. So this is truly the last album I'll talk about for this video, and that is Reborn by TAKEONE. I have so much to talk about. This, well, first and foremost, TAKEONE has rebranded themselves, and if you guys are wondering where the heck TAKEONE went, I haven't seen them in a hot minute. Well, they came back with a new name. It's TAKEONE. So I love the concept of this album. I think that they did a spectacular job with this concept. I really like how, like, with each release, they have basically upgraded themselves. So this time they're going for a racer concept. The concept that they're going for is very like similar to when Gravity came back with their third mini, which is BR Voice. And the mini album Reborn as a whole definitely felt like it has those similar vibes as BR Voice. And yeah, I really love their performance in this music video. They definitely had the same appeal as Gravity's concept, you know, with the whole race car thing and stuff like that. But I say that TAKEONE really nails this concept for me, and I think that this concept is a total win for me. Son of Beast really reminds me of like EXO circa 2015, around Exodus era, or like SHINee circa around the same time with VU era, I think, or like SHINee circa 2013/14 with like their Misconceptions series or Everybody's album. Yeah, that's the one. I think that they have the same energy, but mostly like EXO, like in Exodus era, I think they ride the same energy. I think. I also really like the groove in this, especially like the bass line in Son of Beast, it's very groovy, it's energetic, and the occasional moments of their like whoo or punches in the song really sells the concept overall. And I think that's ultimately important, you know. A good song is good, but like the group also needs to be able to execute the concept well, because it's not, I think to me, like a group should be able to really embrace the concept well that they're given, you know what I mean? Because if they don't fit the concept, they're not able to perform it properly. So I really like how that TAKEONE is really committing to the concept, but also really singing the song well. And that's the thing. They are also really talented vocalists. Not many people acknowledge them enough, but they are super talented. Like, especially their vocal line. Sheesh. I would say that I really underestimated their abilities back when Road to Kingdom happened and when they're announced to be on the show. I was like, okay, they barely just came out of the womb. What can they show us? It's like it's like asking a baby to play in the Super Bowl. That doesn't make sense. But soon after, they quickly proved me wrong. Like, it's very astonishing how fast they proved me wrong, especially with what is perhaps like probably across every like iteration of the show, you know, Queendom, Kingdom, Road to Kingdom, whatever. Their Rising Sun stage is probably in my top 5 favorites of all time, and that is considering that, you know, at the time of this recording, Kingdom final has already happened, so I've seen every single stage already. So considering that, across every stage, their Rising Sun stage is probably in my top 5 favorite stages of all time, and rightfully so, because they really proved that they can just kill the stage with like their charisma and dancing skills, their cooperation, their synergy, and of course their immensely talented and amazing vocals as well. Like, half of the group can sing. Like, when I say half of the group can sing, I mean it. I mean, like, well, there are some weak links in the group, but I think give them some time to practice and hone their vocal skills. I think they're gonna be like a very solid vocal line in the 4th generation. Like, seriously, they really shouldn't be disregarded. I mean, yeah, they already have the powerhouse vocalist that is Jaeyoon in the group. So, I mean, if you have Jaeyoon, you're set for life. But like, they also have like other really outstanding vocalists like Donggon and Kyungho that really knows how to add the extra layer of like depth in it, like very like deep layer of vocals in their songs, and really adds a kind of mature vibe to it. And that's part of the reason why I really like Rising Sun as a stage. It's just so good, and it really makes me look into TO1 way more than I initially thought to. I learned all their names and then after Road to Kingdom ended, I went to check out their varieties, especially like their Ghost House variety show on the Mnet channel, and they are such a riot to watch. Seriously, go watch any of their varieties. So especially like their recent variety, which is like Welcome to House along with EPEX, which are gonna debut this month at the time of this filming. I think they're gonna debut in a week with a mini album, I think. So yeah, they're in a show with EPEX, and I absolutely love the show. I love the show so much. I love their personalities, and especially since EPEX barely just came out of the womb, I think that TO1 really understands how hard it is to be thrown into a show with other idol groups when you're just barely came out of the womb. So I think they did their best to make EPEX feel comfortable, and I really like that for them. And that's also like TO1's personalities are just so cute. I just want to put all of them in my pocket. They're just so tiny. I just want to put them in my pocket, you know, stuff all 10 of them in my pocket, you know what I mean? Yeah, I really love these boys so much. I think they're have such a potential to be one of my top favorite boy groups in the future. I think their current status is they're my semi-alts, but because they're just that like amazing as a group. Give them more albums. If I resonate with their discography, I think they might shoot up to ultimate status, but for now, semi-alts. they're like the same situation as Weekly right now, where like I really like them as people, but like give them give them time for discography to really resonate with me, and I think they're really going to be like my top favorite groups ever. Speaking of albums, let's just get back to the album real quick. I really love the pacing of this album. I actually noticed it on my notes. I really like the pacing of this album. The album pacing is basically like they put all of their like noisy songs on the top, like Son of Beast and Hot Sauce. Totally unintentional coincidence with NCT Dream's Hot Sauce that came out in the same month. But yeah, Son of Beast and Hot Sauce are in the top, and then they have like more, and then as the album progresses, it gets more and more mellow, and then by the end of the album, especially like in the last two songs, Hello Goodbye and With You, these two songs are my favorite of the album. I absolutely love it. These two are no doubt my favorite because it really displays the best of TO1's vocal abilities as a group, and it really displays their group synergy as a whole. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Hold on. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. The pacing of this album is definitely much better than their last release as TOO, which is Running Together. I like that album. It was in my honorable mentions for the second quadrimestre of 2020. The only qualm that I have with that album is that the pacing is off. They shove, personally for me, when they shove better the ballad track in like the middle of the album, it really like breaks the flow for me. I definitely prefer better to be at the end of the album because that's just my personal preference. I generally like slower songs to be at the extreme top or at the extreme bottoms of the album, just so that it creates a gradient flow effect with the melody and stuff like that. They're all really good B-sides generally. It's just that the pacing is not my favorite. I really want to reshuffle this album for Life With Me, but this album is definitely much better paced than the last album. The track for track, it's a nice flow of like racer concept to like bold and brash concepts to mellow concepts. They really do this well. And so yeah, I think to kind of wrap this all up in a nice bow, I think that this is a spectacular comeback from TO1. This is a spectacular rebranding of TO1. I really miss them, and I'm really happy that all 10 of them are performing again. I really love this group wholeheartedly. More than I initially thought I would. I thought I wouldn't get into them for some reason, but then like after Road to Kingdom and like their music keeps getting better and better and stuff like that, I really think they have the potential to be one of my top favorite groups ever. And of course, they're such wholesome people to watch, and they're such total darling. And I hope that with this discomfort in life, they can truly like grow as a group, and they can emerge out of the waters stronger than ever, and they can create better music and provide excellent performances for the people, and to show the people that yeah, they're here to stay and they are forever going to be a well-remembered group in the K-pop fourth generation landscape. I really wish nothing but the best for these amazing boys, and I hope that you guys go give them some love and support with this album. I think that this album is spectacular, a good fantastic rebound for them, a re-debut, rebirth, reborn, whatever, something. Yeah. To end this, stand TO1, stand the talent. That's all I have to say. And that's a wrap. Finally, we're wrapping this up. That's a wrap. Period. Finally, that's a wrap. Alright, so last time I did the intro for the first 12 albums, it was a bit messy. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. What's your favorite album of May? Let me know. What are your favorite releases of May? Let me know as well. And yeah, before I end this video, I'm gonna announce a couple things. So yeah. So the first thing I want to announce is that the Perfect Album Survey is still going on. We currently have about 13 responses. So thank you for the people who submitted their responses, but if you guys haven't yet, I'll link the form in my description box as well as the pinned comment down below so that you guys can also go fill up as well. If I get enough responses, I'll start researching for that video. I'm looking forward to seeing your responses, and I'm looking forward to research that video and discuss about the components of albums with you guys. So yeah, fill out that form and I'll see you in that video when the time comes. Yay! And second of all, do leave in the comment section what are your favorite spring releases of the year, because not so sure. I think I'm gonna make an end of spring recap video when the time sometime in June, because I loved spring and I really want to make a video about the spring releases of this year. This as a little recap, you know what I mean? So yeah, leave your favorite spring releases in the comments as well, or in this community tab right here. I'll put a picture of the community tab right here, community post right here. And yeah, I'm also looking forward to seeing your answers, and I'm looking forward to discussion to you guys. I'm always looking forward for a discussion with you guys, so if you guys haven't left it already, do leave your favorites in the comments or in my community post. Yay! And hopefully I'll see you guys then. Hopefully I see you guys very, very soon. But until then, I love you guys so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care, and as always, be excellent to each other. Bye, loves!